mic is live. Just don't say anything you don't want to say.
That I don't want on air. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here this morning on this most auspicious occasion. I'm Jan Jones Blackhurst, Chair of the Board of Directors for the Vegas Strong Fund. And before we begin, I'd like to thank everyone from the media who's here today. I know many of you covered the events of October 1st, 7 years ago. So sharing this morning as we continue our journey in the mission, we really appreciate you're here. To start, I'd like to thank Clark County for entrusting the Vegas Strong Fund with the profound honor and responsibility to lead the next phase of effort in realizing the permanent October 1 memorial. This was after a unanimous vote in April of this year, which designated our fund as the nonprofit responsible for construction and fundraising for the memorial. We also extend our thanks to Commissioner Jim Gibson, in which the final memorial, his district, it will be housed. After a remarkable years-long public process to select a winning design concept with the 7 appointed members of the October 1 Memorial Committee, we're excited to be standing before you here today to publicly announce the 3-year campaign to complete the Forever One Memorial by the 10-year anniversary of October 1. We also would like to thank the county for a $1 million grant they recently awarded to kickstart our efforts. We will continue to partner with them throughout the design and build of the memorial as we consider ongoing operation and maintenance considerations that will be important when we complete the project, and the county assumes some ongoing responsibility. In my time as a former elected and now civic leader in Las Vegas, I can tell you that public-private partnerships like this one will make us all stronger and make sure we're successful in our fundraising endeavors. And now a little bit about the Vegas Strong Fund, the entity I have the honor to chair. The Vegas Strong Fund was established in the immediate aftermath of October 1st while I was chair of the Nevada Resort Association and was organized in partnership with members of Nevada's resort gaming industry. The fund raised millions of dollars for Las Vegas victims, scholarships for aspiring first responders, and children of those impacted by October 1. We also made grants for annual gatherings for survivors and victim families around the remembrance ceremonies. 7 years later, we now take on a new mandate to create a permanent space for healing, the Forever One Memorial. We offer our sincere thanks to MGM Resorts International for donating a 2-acre parcel at the festival grounds located on the corner of Reno Avenue and Giles, where there is sacred significance to the land upon which the memorial will be consecrated. And 75% of the community indicated it was important that the location of the permanent memorial be housed at that site. As we look to the next 3 years and what it will take to deliver the Forever One Memorial by the 10th remembrance on October 1st, 2027, we know that this project will require tens of millions of dollars with a fundraising goal that we'll announce later this fall. But initially, we're calling on partners, both public and private, to recall the spirit of unity, resilience, and compassion our community displayed in the days and weeks after 1 October. Together, we can raise the necessary funds to create a permanent memorial to honor those lives lost so that we never forget. I serve alongside an incredible board of directors who have diverse and necessary expertise and networks that will help us accomplish our goal. Individuals on our board range from industry and community leaders, those with construction and design expertise, and who have fundraising ability to help us reach our goal. We are grateful to have 2 directors on the Vegas Strong Board who also served on the October 1st Memorial Committee, Tennille Pereira, who chaired the effort, and Kelly McMahill, who represented our first responder community. In addition to Kelly and Tennille, there are several other directors on the board with us today, including Scott Nielsen, who serves as our vice chair, Ashley Eddy, who is our treasurer, Poonam Mather, our secretary, Jennifer Carlton, Sam Nicholson, Brian Rogers, Peggy Selesner, and Virginia Valentine, and our ex officio county representative, Deputy County Manager Lisa Kramer. And importantly, join us today are many coalition partners from our emergency medical providers and police and fire departments to elected officials from Clark County, including Chairman of the Clark County Commission, Tick Sagerboom, and Commissioner Marilyn Kirkpatrick. They are all joining us as our mission-aligned nonprofit organizations like the Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada and their Resiliency and Justice Center, and our key project partners, JCJ Architecture and Burke Construction Group. This collective demonstration of support sends a strong message to the survivors, victims, and their families that our community is committed to delivering them a world-class memorial that honors their stories, their struggle, and their resilience and aspirations. Many of the leaders you see standing behind me today personally responded to the calls, injury, and chaos that ensued on that fateful night. Our community owes them a debt of gratitude, and I know I speak for all Las Vegans when I say, thank you. This memorial is spaced to honor your heroism and service as well. As we embark on this campaign, we invite the community to get involved. We need everyone to be a part of this effort. Please subscribe to our email newsletter, which you can find on our newly launched website, foreveronememorial.org. Follow us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn by searching for Forever One Memorial. And finally, we understand that this is a collective healing journey and that engaging the impacted community, our survivors, victims, family, loved ones, our emergency and first responders, and all those who were affected is paramount to facilitate that continued healing. That is our commitment and one that we intend to honor throughout the process. As we gather on the eve of the 7th remembrance of October 1, I'd like to pause for a moment of silence as we reflect on the 58 lives we lost that night and the others who have since passed from injuries sustained. In their memory, let us all commit to delivering this important and sacred space for the healing by the 10th remembrance. And now I'd like to introduce my good friend and partner to the Vegas Strong Fund, the chairman of the Clark County Commission, Tick Sagerboom.
Thank you so much, Jan. Real briefly, Clark County is so pleased to be able to turn this over to the Vegas Strong Fund. We are 100% committed. We gave $1 million, but we're here all the way. Anything you need, we are committed to support you. And I know that anything Jan Jones puts her name on is going to be successful. But Jan, whatever you need, just reach out because this is Clark County is 100% behind you. Thank you so much. Now, Marilyn Kirkpatrick.
Thank you, Commissioner Sagerboom. I'm Marilyn Kirkpatrick, and I was the chair of the Clark County Commission when we formed that very committee. And for me, it was a healing process for so many, whether they were survivors, victims, friends of families, first responders. And that committee spent a lot of time going through an emotional roller coaster, trying to come up with a concept that met every single person's needs. And it wasn't only the community's needs, but it was the needs across the nation, because so many were here from outside of our community, but our community truly stepped up, and everybody pulled together to do so much. So for me, it is a great pleasure to see a concept turn into a project, and I really want to stress to everybody should have a piece of this. We owe this to our community, because we showed that our community could come together in a very quick moment and put things together, but we need to show the rest of the country that we promised, and we're going to deliver on our promise to put a project in place that will memorialize this forever. It has changed our community. It's changed me for a long time. I am fortunate to have stayed connected to a little over 6,000 of the survivors. To this day, we still talk. Many of them are in town this weekend, and many of them will be here tomorrow morning. So I implore the community to do what we do best, is get involved, help make this become a reality for the 10th year, and do our part. It changed us as a community. We showed the nation that we are capable of bringing things together. So I can't say, it's a little emotional for me because putting the committee together, everybody wanted to be on it, but we needed to make sure that it was representative of everybody that was impacted. And I think that we did just that. I think the committee did a great job, and they should be commended. So I would ask that we all give the committee itself a round of applause because it was a hard day and a long process for everybody involved. So with that, I could go on for a very long time because it was a very emotional and a very long time to get here, but I couldn't be prouder to turn this concept into a project. I'm going to turn it over to Kelly McMahill. Where is she? I'm going to turn it over to Brian. Just kidding.
Thank you, Commissioner. You know, when I was first asked to join the Vegas Strong Fund, and first I looked and I went, what am I getting myself into when I looked around? And then I realized the honor that I would have being able to help doing something like this, and I couldn't turn it down. I'll never forget that night. I was lying in bed and I got a call from my daughter because she works for me and she was at the event providing emergency medical care. And she said, Daddy, they're shooting at us. And I'm like, what? That doesn't register the first time you hear it. Then she said, Daddy, there's somebody shooting at us. Okay, now I caught on. And I said, okay. I told her where to go, what to do. And I immediately got up, got dressed, called one of the fire chiefs I knew and said, do you know about this? He said, no. I said, all right, I'll meet you there in 10 minutes. And as I was going there, my confusion turned into a reality. And it was truly shocking. And, you know, as a paramedic for 40 years, as a paramedic here in Las Vegas for 36, there's not too many things that surprise me anymore. But this one surprised me. With all of us working together, I am very sorry. Nothing could have prepared us for the scene that we all responded to at the Route 91 festival. I remember pulling up and really just not knowing where to go first. Then I did a little digging and found out where I was going to go. In the beginning, we didn't know, but it turned out that we had one person shooting at a crowd of 22,000 people from the 32nd floor of Mandalay Bay. And at the end, we wound up with 850 injured people. That night will leave a mark on my brain that will never go. I don't know that I guess it's probably down to a week now. A week doesn't go by that I don't think of that night. So many lives were lost, but also so many lives were changed, and we have to consider that. And not only in our community, but these people were from many different communities, even so, different countries. And we try and bring everybody in to make this a memorial for them. But one of the things I remember most when I look back is the hundreds, no, maybe I'll say the thousands of people that jumped in to help. These people had no medical knowledge whatsoever. And they kept asking, can I help, can I help? And in the beginning, I was too busy. But when I took a step back, I realized I needed to give these people a job. They needed to be able to say they did something to help them through that evening. And looking back on it, I realized through that night, there are many good people out there than this one bad guy, and I refuse to put all my attention on him. I'll put it on the people that did good. Those people wound up offering to take people to hospitals. They did little first aid as we told them. We told them to hold an arm in this position. They did. They told, hold somebody's bleeding. They did. And the people that took people to hospitals, we got to very much consider and thank, even though they're great every day, all the hospitals I'm going to name, it took a special night. And UMC, Sunrise, and Desert Springs. And Desert Springs isn't even a trauma center. But one of the things I've learned since is that if you Google from the site, where's the closest hospital, it says Desert Springs. So that's why all those people were bringing patients to Desert Springs Hospital. And they stepped up to the challenge also. And we couldn't have had such a successful evening without those hospitals scrambling to make it what it was. And they are all represented here at today's conference. And in the days that followed, we saw that when things go wrong, our community comes together. Not only did our community rally, but so did the nation, with victims, survivors, who called various cities and state home. We had supplies coming in that we didn't ask for, sentiments. We had many of the fire stations, law enforcement, EMS, had people just sending dinners. And we ate good for those few days after that. And that's how our country comes together. Sometimes we all look right now and say, what's going on? But when things go wrong, we as Americans pull together. There were hundreds of thousands of people who did wonderful things that night, and the compassion, the humanity, and the resilience on display showed the true heart of Southern Nevada and all the communities that our victims' families and survivors were from. So when I got the call to serve on the Vegas Strong Fund Board of Directors, I was honored to be appointed. I felt a sense of, relief, knowing that I'm going to continue to be able to do something. And that something is going to really help so many people on the other end. And I am so honored to be able to do that. As I think about the strong coalition of support behind me, including emergency, first responders from all across all jurisdictions in Southern Nevada, our hospital and healthcare partners, our elected leaders, our appointed leaders, survivors, victims, families, and more, I am filled with gratitude that we have such a caring coalition who is going to stand beside this project, I should say. For our victims, families, our survivors, we know that you long for a space to lie down, to grieve, to pay respects to those you've lost, and to gather in community and remember the good parts of the time you shared together, enjoying music on that fateful night and experiencing the joy that you had before the shooting started. It's killing me, I apologize. Forever One Memorial is that place. It's a place where you can go to remember, to never forget. It's a place where emergency and first responders can go to be honored for their courage, to reflect on and process the experiences they shared and the scenes of loss they witnessed. It matters when a community comes together in a tragedy to heal. It matters to honor the stories of those we've lost, the 58, the 2 have perished in the aftermath, and all the others who left us due to their wounds, both psychological and physical. They must all be remembered. And with that, I'd really like to say thank you, and I look forward to working with you. And now I'd like to introduce Caressa Royce.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Brian. My name is Caressa Royce, and I am a survivor of 1 October, served as the vice chair of the 1 October Memorial Committee. I, like so many members of our community, attended the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival multiple times. What was always a weekend of carefree excitement and a celebration of country music altered my life and over 22,000 people's lives forever. I was critically wounded by gunfire with the nearly 850 people that also sustained injuries. To this day, it's still heartbreaking to process what unfolded that evening. Bearing witness to human suffering and survival, alongside selfless, heroic acts of citizens and first responders. I owe it to a countless number of people for helping save my life, supporting me through my physical recovery, and walking beside me in healing. I'm deeply thankful and blessed to be alive today. Serving on the 1 October Memorial Committee was the honor of a lifetime. The process gave me an avenue to heal and a deep sense of purpose. To be a representative of the survivor community and ensure our collective aspirations were heard is a responsibility I did not take lightly. The committee's process was thorough, spanning multiple years, ensuring we stay centered in our mission to deliver the best possible memorial to honor the lives lost and all those impacted. Through surveys, focus groups, creative expression submissions, and more, so many of you vulnerably shared your hearts with us. Your contributions and your stories led us to where we are today, and I cannot thank you enough. The Forever One Memorial will honor on sacred ground the 58 lives that we lost. They were more than just a number. They were mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, siblings, cherished friends, and more. Their lives will never be forgotten. The name Forever One truly embodies the spirit of the Route 91 community. We came together to enjoy music, to celebrate life, and to be in community. We could have never have imagined the tragedy that would unfold, and yet in the years since, we've bonded, we've creating lasting friendships and relationships, and it's a testament to the power of our humanity. We will always be forever one. As Jan mentioned, this effort will take partners, both public and private, to ensure we bring this memorial to life. As someone who was there that evening, I can assure you, memorials matter. They mark the historical permanency. They ensure the lives lost are honored and never forgotten, and they lift up the unique stories and experiences of survivors, first responders, and the community at large. Memorials are vital to the lifelong process of healing and grieving. We cannot change what has happened, but we can ensure it is never forgotten. And that is what this memorial represents. Thank you for being here today, and thank you to all who will answer the call to donate to the Forever One Memorial. I'll turn it back over to Jan. Thank you.
And we can take a few questions if you have any, or we can do individual interviews, just depending on your preference. I've never heard the When do you hope to break ground? We hope to break ground probably, I would say, in the next 6 months. And that's an estimate because we're moving back from the 10-year remembrance. So 6 months. Well, we have $1 million from the county, which is our working capital, but we've just launched our website and all of the other venues, Facebook, where people can now go and see the memorial, see how they can donate. So we'll really launch the fundraising campaign aspect going forward from today.
And how much are you looking to raise?
It's not exactly sure right now. It will be in the tens of millions of dollars. We're going through a process right now of just engineering. How do we construct it? What's the most cost-effective ways? So we'll probably have a final number on that in the next 3 to 6 months as well.
In addition to the donations, will there be grants of any sort to help?
Yes, we will be working with government agencies, the state, federal government, other groups, other foundations that we can call upon to make major gifts if possible. But a big part of the fundraising we would like to see from the community, because it was the community that was impacted, and showing that they have a hand in building this permanent memorial, I think is really important to the authenticity and the integrity of the project. So if there are no other questions, then we'll call an end to the press conference, and I'm sure any members here, if you have certain people you'd like to interview, will be available. Thank you.
If any members of the media would like to conduct interviews with speakers, there's room on this side of the podium, also in front of the podium. And the two final speakers, we'll check in with them to see if they're available for interviews. Thank you.